All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us this session on Steps to Homeschool Success. I am Shannon Eves, a family liaison, and I'm here with Anna Aguilar, Karen Sipka, and Jamie, our admin, and
Shamela Beck.
Shamela Beck. I hesitate saying it because I'm gonna, yeah. So thank you. So, firstly, I want to inform everybody that this session is currently being recorded. So for those who prefer not to be recorded, it's completely optional. You're welcome to turn off your microphones and your cameras. I want you to know this session is open forum. So we are all going to participate, and I'm encouraging you to ask questions and share your thoughts during this session. Rest assured that the recording will be paused at the end for anyone who wishes to speak or ask questions off of recording. So each session is going to cover a different topic. Today is our first session due to technical difficulties before. We are actually going to go over two topics, starting your path and resources and community. And then the next two sessions are going to be finding your balance and avoiding burnout, or at least trying to avoid burnout. So today we're going to get started talking about starting your homeschool path. And I want everybody, I know everyone is wanting to help finding the curriculum that's going to be best to fit your family. We're going to go over some things to help you guide you when you're researching and choosing a curriculum. So now it's really important to remember the word your in starting your path, because your family's homeschool journey is unique and different from someone else's. You shouldn't compare yourself or your learners to others. Homeschooling is different for everyone, and everyone learns at their own pace. So do not let others make you feel like you're doing things wrong or that their way is better. There's no right way to homeschool, okay? So we're gonna start off by setting your vision. And I'm gonna ask everybody to go get a piece of paper or something to write with. You can pull up a document or your notes app, just something to write on. That way you can take notes, write your answers to the questions in this section. You're gonna need these answers when you're done. But you don't have to answer them all right now. So this paper is going to be great for you to take notes on if you don't want to answer them right away. So our first question is going to be, what is your why? So I want you to really sit back and think about, why are you choosing this path to homeschool your children? So everyone's answers are going to be different. And like I stated before, this is your family. This is your family's choice, your family's why, and it's going to be different from others because every family is different. So take your time answering this, and you can always come back and answer it later. I'm going to give everybody about a minute or two, I think 2 minutes here, to write down whatever you need. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You can unmute or you can type them in the chat. I'm going to give everybody about 2 minutes to answer this question. So what is your why? And whatever you wrote, whatever you've written down when you're done with this step, I want you to take that and put it somewhere that you can see frequently. That way, when you're having a hard day or a hard time, you can look at that and remember why you've chosen this path and why you're on this journey. And I also want you to know that your reason will evolve and shift over time. As we grow and experience new things, our perspectives change, and things that were important, that were not important to us before, may be important now as just, a part of life. All right. So we're going to go into the next question, and that is, what do you want your homeschool to look like? So for now, I want you to sit back and visualize what you would want your homeschool to look like. Do you want a nature-based and outside? Do you want to have everybody sitting around the table doing lessons together? Do you want to be cuddled up and reading together? Do you want to spend a lot of time teaching your learners, or do you want them to do their lessons mostly on their own? Do you want to have them attend classes in person or virtually? Do you want to go on a lot of field trips? Write down whatever comes to your mind, kind of like a brain dump. What do you want your homeschool to look like? I know this can be overwhelming, so I want you to take your time and answer this. You can also ask questions. You can unmute. You can share in the chat any questions that you have. All right. So since we are cramming 2 into 1, I'm going to go ahead and move on. You can come back and answer that later. It's fine. So what are the, we're going to get into what are the homeschool styles and philosophies. There are lots of different styles of teaching in homeschool. And I'm going to talk about the most popular ones. And I know this is a lot, especially if you've not heard some of these styles. So I'm going to go over each one just a little bit. Unfortunately, I won't be able to cover everything. I do encourage you to research the ones that do catch your interest. And you can always ask me further questions about them at the end, and I'd be happy to answer them. So the first one we're going to talk about is traditional style, which is essentially school at home. It's the same education you would get if you went to school, but you're doing it at home. This method is excellent if you want your learners to go to a traditional school in the future. The next two are textbook method and online method. They are what they sound like. Students use textbooks or online curricula in their studies. A lot of people that do traditional schooling use both of these methods. There are tons of options to choose from, and the online options are getting better every year. And a lot of the textbooks have actually moved to a digital format. So our next 2 methods are project-based learning and unit studies. And I put these together because they do sound similar, but they are very different. PBL is student-led, and unit studies are typically teacher-led. So project-based learning begins with an open-ended question that interests the child and gives them the reins to research the answers. They result in intensive research, several hands-on opportunities, and are usually long-term projects, but they're not always long. Sometimes they can be shorter. Unit studies incorporates multiple subjects into a theme. So such as oceans is the theme, and you're going to do math while counting fish or multiplying schools of fish. Language arts can be writing about different sea creatures, and you can definitely get some science in there. History and social studies could be like a biography about somebody from ocean life and stuff like that. So they do sound similar, but they are very different. So the next few methods I want to talk about are philosophies. They are whole philosophies. They're more lifestyles than just school lessons. And like I said before, I'm only going to touch on the basics of each one. There is a lot more to these. So first we have Charlotte Mason philosophy. They prefer living books over textbooks. natural study, good habits, and character building. They practice observation, memorization, and narration. And lessons are done in short periods, typically about 15 to 20 minutes maximum for younger learners and about 45 for high school learners. And that's per lesson. So you do like 15 minutes, you take a break, you come back and do something else. Waldorf. Waldorf aims to educate the whole child. So your head, heart, and hands is a catchphrase that you hear in Waldorf. They emphasize creativity and imagination. They use storytelling and art to guide their lessons. And subjects are typically taught in a block lesson method, focusing on topic or a subject at a time. And music and movement are also essential in Waldorf. Montessori. So Montessori uses uninterrupted blocks of time and a choice of pre-selected work centers. So Montessori incorporates a full sensory experience and emphasizes letting children use real tools rather than toys, such as letting them help in the kitchen rather than giving them a play kitchen set. Classical. So classical is based on a 3-part process. We have grammar, logic, and rhetoric. Grammar is the elementary ages, and it lays the groundwork, learning how to learn. Logic is in the middle grades, and it focuses on reasoning and analytical thinking. Rhetoric is in the higher grades, and it combines the grammar with the logic stage. And classical is also very language-based. Unschooling. So if you ask a group of unschoolers what unschooling is, you're going to get different answers. But generally, it's completely child-led learning. You would be a facilitator, someone who helps the learners when they need it and when they ask for it. And it operates on the premise of natural curiosity. And last, we have eclectic. And this method is a mix of different methods and philosophies, and you're going to use what's best for you in your home. A lot of veteran homeschoolers end up being eclectic, pulling from many different areas to suit their family best. So if you're not sure what style you are, that's okay. You don't have to pick one. If you like, I do have a quiz that can help narrow it down. I'll put it in the chat. Ask several questions about what you would do in a homeschool when you're learning. And then it shares the method that you chose most of. So like if you chose your answers mostly Waldorf, it's going to tell you that the higher percentage you picked was Waldorf. Also want you to note your homeschool style can and probably will change over time. A majority of families change their style. And before we move on, does anybody have any questions? Okay.
No, but I have to agree with you. I think that when I first started off with my kindergartner, I was very structured. And once I realized like, oh, like this is learning, this is, I definitely switched. I switched curriculums, I switched philosophies, because also my kid was learning. And so because of his learning, I had to move towards that. So you're definitely right on that.
So how, the question in the chat is how often can you change it if it's not working for your family? As often as you need to. So if it's not working, it's not working. I would say give it a little bit more time though, because sometimes when we hit a hurdle, we want to just change and do something else. So give it some more time. And then if it's still not working, change it up, try something else. And I know when we started homeschooling, we started using Waldorf, and then I switched to Charlotte Mason, and then I switched to like online, and we've been all over the place. It's just whatever works for each of my kids is different. All right. I'm gonna move to the next. Learning styles. So next we're gonna look at learning styles. And what are learning styles? So learning styles refers to the, I wrote a word that I can't read. I'm so sorry. It refers to the way a student absorbs, processes, and comprehends and retains information. I know some people now don't agree with learning styles. A lot information has come out about how learning styles probably aren't the best. But I think the reason is that some people don't agree with them, is that they don't realize that learners can have more than one learning style. And a lot of times they change and grow. And we're going to go over that in a minute. So the first one is auditory. They learn best by hearing and having something read to them, like audiobooks, or listening to lectures and discussions. The next one is visual. They learn best by seeing, using visuals, videos, pictures, and demonstrations. The next is kinesthetic. They learn by doing and learn by moving and touching. The last is read and write. They learn by reading and writing, like reading books and writing lessons and taking notes. Another aspect of learning style is environment. Are they social learners, or do they learn and rotate? Like, do they learn and retain information better in groups? Are they solitary learners? Do they learn better individually, doing things on your own? So like I said before, your learners can have more than one learning style, and most do. And these can also change as they age. So a younger learner can be kinesthetic, most of them are, and they can turn into or incorporate also visual learning in their teens. And this can also change by subject. So this is fun. Learners can be kinesthetic and social with science, but they might be visual and solitary with math. So I want you to think about your learner when they enjoy learning. What are they doing and how are they doing it? If you're having trouble nailing down the learner styles, I do have a few quizzes for you. I actually found one recently that was amazing. If you have older students, you can have them take it themselves. And this one's really modern in the way it explains how they like learning. And these other two are a little bit more older. They are you taking it yourself for your learners. I'm going to put them both, all of them in the chat. There you go. I found that newer one fascinating. I had my daughter take it and I learned she's an audio learner and I thought she was visual. So, all right, do we have any questions or anything before we move on? Okay, so some homework for you to do later. I want you to talk to your learners and ask them these questions, okay? What did they love last year? And if they weren't in school, what did they love doing during playtime? What did they not like last year? What do they want to learn about next year or this coming year? And what are some things that they're into right now? So you can incorporate all of these answers when you're looking at your curriculum options. And one tip I have for you is when you ask, let them know that they can be honest and really try not to react when they tell you. So for instance, when you ask, what did you love about, sorry, what they love about this last year and what did they not like, they may tell you they didn't like something that you enjoyed and worked really hard on planning and doing all these amazing fun things. Just take it in and try not to react. It might be hard, but you didn't do a bad job. Sometimes our kids are just not into the same thing that we are into, and that's okay. That's natural.
What?
Did somebody have a question? Okay, I'm gonna move on. All right, a few other things to consider before you start looking for a curriculum. what are your goals for the year? So is it memorizing all your multiplication facts, writing a research paper, learning to cook or sew? Do you want to read a lot of good literature? Do you want to prepare your kids for adult life? So what are your goals for the year? Do you want an all-in-one curriculum, something that plans out the lessons for you and is open and go? Or do you want to use multiple resources and decide what to do and when to do it? What are your must subjects? So of course, math, but what type of math? Is it grade specific or subject matter specific? Excuse me, hang on. Language arts, learning to read, grammar, writing, spelling, reading comprehension. Which parts of language arts do you want to do? Science, do you want to do biology, physics, anatomy, zoology, nature studies? History and social studies, do you want to do social studies or do you want to do history? Do you want to do timeline based that starts at the beginning of the world and ends today? Do you want to hop around and do history that interests them? Do you want to follow the standards that are laid out, or do you do your must subjects also include art, music, physical ed, and health? So what are all your must subjects? These are the things we want to do this year. There's no options. This is what we're doing. Outsourcing. Are there things that you prefer not to teach or you want your learners to take a class in that subject? And extracurricular. Are you doing extracurricular activities? Are they doing classes outside the house or virtually? These are things you want to consider when you're looking at the rest of your year. And learning disabilities. Do your learners have a learning disability like dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, auditory processing, nonverbal? The list is much bigger. So take these into consideration when you're looking for a curriculum. So like, for instance, dyslexia, you're gonna probably want something more visual and audio. So like audiobooks, textbooks with an audio version, something to read to them, using an Organ-Gillingham method for learning how to read. If you have ADHD learners, maybe like unit studies, so you're changing it up every few weeks and keeping it new and exciting, or shorter lessons with lots of hands-on learning. So really, just keep in mind, if you do have learners with learning disabilities, these things when you're looking. So now, with all of that and all of your notes, you're actually ready to find a curriculum. These notes are going to help you narrow down your choices. So you should have your homeschooling method written down, and possibly more your children's learning style, the questions that you asked your children, and you're going to take all of that and to help you when you search for a curriculum. So does anybody have any questions at this time? Or do they want to share anything?
I'm sorry. I really like Gil's question on the meeting chat, on the chat.
Oh, okay. So in the past, Blue Ridge has required that we check off the I can statements and how we can reconcile those against the type of curriculum we might want to use. Yeah, so and yes, this recording will be available later to watch. The I can statements are on our website for each grade, and you can find them there. For what I do is I look at them and I'll show my kids like a video, because that's their preferred method of learning on that subject or that I can statement. And I do remember I can statements are not mastery based, they're introductory. And Jamie, did you want to say anything more about?
Sure, I can jump in. So the parents shouldn't be required to be checking off, the I can statements. Those are essentially our state standards. And that's part of what your homeschool teacher will be doing is when you have a meeting with your teacher, they're going to be looking at what your student is working on and helping to reconcile that with those state standards that we're required to address as a public school. So that's something you'll do in partnership with your teacher. We do recommend that we use a standards-based curriculum, but we know that many of these approaches they might do the history topics in a different order, or you might want to read a different book than what is recommended for that grade level. So there is wiggle room for those things, and we do have a way of just addressing when you do it in a different order. I see there's an AG question. It is different when it comes to high school. That's a whole separate topic. So the I can statements, we're talking about the state standards, that would be for our TK through 8th grade students.
Yeah, if you have any questions for help with high school, I would reach out to your counselor and your teacher. And also, we're going to go over it in a minute, the curriculum flyers and things like that to help you find things for high school. So I see another question about state testing, and we talk about state testing a lot more in our new family info session. Anna, can you possibly grab a link to the new family info sessions information? It should have been in an
Flyer.
email that you got as well.
Yeah, I think, and in terms of how big of a deal is state testing, we are a public school again, so participation in state testing is something that we do support, and we do expect that our students are participating in state assessments. How you use those assessments and the information that comes with those is up to you, and how much value you place on those scores.
Thank you, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're halfway through, and we still have more. So we're going to keep going. All right, so resources and community. In the homeschool community, it's widely agreed that sticking together and having access to helpful resources are paramount. It's important to find tools and help your child's education and make connections to meet your social needs as well. And at Blue Ridge, we've got both of these options covered for our families, and we're going to share those here. And plus, I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to connect with your local and online communities beyond Blue Ridge. So let's get into it. Blue Ridge resources. What resources do our schools offer to their families? Does our school? Curriculum flyers. So these are going to be one of the top places you can look at for great curriculum options. And I'm going to put them all in the chat. So that one is TK through 5, and then we have the middle school and high school one. I'm also going to share with you one that has curriculum updates on it. It has updated information from one year to the other year, because they're constantly updating these flyers. So these are going to be really great resources for you to find curriculum options. They are not the end all be all though. You can use other curriculum as well, but they have a wealth of information in them. And our yearly online subscriptions. These are free online subscriptions for your students. So this year we have things like Brain Pop Junior, Brain Pop ELL, Brain Pop Science for grades TK through 8. We have California K-12 digital resources for all the grades. We have Grammarly for all the grades. We have IXL for all the grades. We have MobiMax for TK through 8. Pathful is a new one that we have this year. It's Pathful Junior for TK through 5 and Pathful Explorer for grades 6 through 12. We also have Touch Type Read Spell. We have Adobe Creative Cloud for grades 7 through 12, which has things like Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and more. We have NetTA and NetTutor as well for grades 7 through 12. Digital Theater for grades 9 through 12. And you can find more information about these on those curriculum flyers that I put in the chat.
Hello, my name is Madeline Bond with Bond Realty, and today I'm here to tell you.
Did you have a question, Jennifer?
25.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry. I didn't,
Okay.
I thought I was on mute. Yes. I may be in the wrong place. I thought this was an open house, but I need to get approval for my, my son to do, community college. Is it too late for that? I emailed Jessica Valentine. I didn't hear back from her.
Not sure about that.
Is there, I'm not
Um,
sure who's still like at work or who's off for the summer, but who could I email to get information?
Let me. I do think there was an update in our latest newsletter about that. Do you have that?
It came this morning. If I haven't finished reading it yet.
Yeah, she had an update in there.
Oh, good.
And I think you can email her about that information.
She being Jessica Valentine.
Jessica Valentine, yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And Anna just shared our new family info sessions. If you're interested in joining those as well, they have a lot of really good information in the chat. All right. So next we have Blue Ridge offers free tutoring. So we have free tutoring available for all of our families. So in grades 7 through 12, we have high school content specialist for math, language arts, history, science, social studies, Spanish, and VAPA. And they have office hours that are available to our students that are taking high school courses. We have chat rooms with language birds for grades 7 through 12 also that are taking high school level Spanish, French, German, and ASL. And we also have World Over that offers K through 12 tutoring for social studies, science, history, math, science, social science, and Spanish. Sorry. Then there's also Net Tutor for grades 7 through 12 and any subject. And here is a flyer that has more information. I'm giving you all these flyers. Actually, should be also in your welcome emails as well. Next, we have the Lending Library. So the Lending Library is a great resource to check out any curriculum, games, items, manipulatives, and more that you're interested in. And I highly recommend that if you're not sure about a curriculum, you check and see if we have it at the library. They're also having a Friends of the Library special event. Since we can't have families inside of our libraries, we're going to bring the library to you. It's going to be like in our parking lots at 2 of our locations. We're going to have 2 days that our librarians will be available to showcase some material and give opportunities to see options in person. And I have another flyer here for that as well. There you go. And field trips. We have field trips for our students to go on this year. And we're planning on having even more. And they're fun places to go, like whale watching, cooking, and farm trips and more. And we also have museum family passes available. This year, we have added the ability for our families to use their planning amount to get family passes at museums and aquariums. They're another great educational option to your students. So yes, the only tutoring available for under 7th grade is World Over. And they're actually, my students use World Over for their curriculum, and they're really nice over there. Okay. So next we have resources outside of Blue Ridge. Your local library. I know you're like, I know about the library. They have books, but they also have programs for your kids to join. Plus, I know the LA County libraries have removed their fines. So yay to saving money. I know I owed them so much. Plus, they also have tools you can rent. They have some locations have games and so much more. So look into what your libraries offer. Also look into different libraries. So I know in my area, we have a city library and we have 2 county libraries, and they offer completely different things. So really look into your libraries. They're a really good resource. And they also love homeschoolers. All right, free resources. There are plenty of free resources, especially after the great stay at home. I have a link here where I've gathered a bunch of free resources that I know of, and I'm actually adding to them constantly. I'm currently adding a whole section for YouTube education, which leads me into my next recommendation, YouTube. YouTube's a great place for kids to find educational videos, but it's also a great place for you to find other homeschool families talking about homeschooling and showing curriculum that they use. And then podcasts are also another great resource. There's a lot of educational podcasts for kids, and a lot of homeschool parents and families also have podcasts for homeschool parents and families. Okay, we have a question in the chat that's how do we sign up for field trips? And you'll get information on that from your teacher and the newsletter that we send out monthly. So community in Blue Ridge. We have a wonderful community connections team that offers local in-person park days and virtual clubs like art club and book club. We also have Facebook groups for our families. One is for families only and for staff, so that we can answer your questions and post about information and news for you. And you can also come in and post about things as well. We also have a group for families and vendors where vendors can advertise their services and you can ask them questions. We also offer monthly parent virtual sessions. So we have a monthly parent book club, and this year we're going to be doing a book a month. We have the E3 Parent Summits. There is E3 short for Engage, Equip, and Empower. And these are also once a month where we have a panel of parents, teachers, and professionals all joining forces to explore different topics. And we have vendor fairs, and this year's vendor fairs are going to be 2-week-long vendor fairs, one in August and one in January. So before I get to that, I'm going to answer a question in the chat. Yes, Jamie, I love that. The libraries have free tutoring. For the New Family Information Center. Can you repost, Anna, the New Family Information Center info in the chat?
Yes, I actually private messaged.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
The vendor fairs, we do have in-person vendor fairs at our community connection events. And we do also have the virtual vendor fairs as well. So community, no problem. Local homeschoolers, find your local homeschool community. They are a wealth of information. In our area, we have weekly park days that have, and several groups that do weekly park days. So I know in our area, we have at least 3 a week. One great way to find them is Facebook groups. you can search your city and your area and homeschooling and find your local homeschooling group on Facebook. You can also join Facebook and find groups that match your homeschooling style. Like if you're Waldorf homeschooling, you can put Waldorf homeschooling. If you're Charlotte Mason, you can put that in there and you will find a plethora of homeschool Facebook groups. That is where all the homeschoolers are. One of my favorites is actually the C homeschoolers. It's Secular Eclectic Academia, and they are a wealth of really good information. And then also find your local co-ops and classes. We have several vendors that do offer classes, but some families do get together and do co-ops. And you can find those in the Facebook groups as well. And that is it from me. I am here for any questions that you have. You can also, my number is there, so you can call me. You can email us at familyliaisons@the Blue Ridge Academy. That is a link to our Facebook group. So that you can join us. I will say, if you're a new family though, you do have to sign your master agreement before you can get into the Facebook group. And currently you might not be able to find it. Unfortunately, we are doing a cleanup of the group. So in a couple weeks, it will show up again. We do a cleanup once a year to take out anybody who's no longer enrolled in our school. So it's for the safety of our students.
I'm actually curious to know if we have any parents like that wouldn't mind sharing. What are you kind of most excited about to explore with Blue Ridge? With all of these things and resources, what are you kind of interested in exploring or looking into?
Yes. You can go ahead and unmute and speak.
Well, I feel like Blue Ridge had it's like a learning curve kind of a thing when you start homeschooling. I thought I knew what I was doing or what homeschool was until I got going. But I do feel that I am getting the ropes. I'm getting it down. My little one's going to be in 3rd grade. And we've been with Blue Ridge the entire time. So we're really excited about it. Some things that I've really enjoyed is the fact that we can do field trips with our child now. You know, we got memberships to the local, what is it called? South Coast Plaza Garden Center. So we've been able to do things like that, or the aquarium and things like that. So outside learning that they're still able to apply lots of subjects to one thing. So I'm really excited that Blue Ridge has offered that, and we've taken advantage of them, and whatever else we can get our hands on for the new year, we're excited about it. So Blue Ridge is doing a really great job, and you liaisons are to be applauded for the hard work that you do. So we appreciate you too.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. And we are here to help you.
Yes,
We
thank
love
you.
it when you, sorry. We love it when you come to us with any ideas that you're looking for help, especially since we're currently planning our sessions for next year.
I'll definitely start working on that. There's some other things that I was thinking about too. So yeah, I'm excited. Really good.
Thank you so much. That really kind of touches our hearts, because we were homeschooling mamas, and sometimes I'm like, I wish I had a family liaison when I was homeschooling, just to walk me through things, because it can be overwhelming, but it's also exciting because you get to try things, and they may work and they may not, but you're learning with your kid. And so some of the things that I jotted down, kind of like, what do I hope to get out of it? And I'm just reflecting on when I first started homeschooling, it was that I wanted to spend more time with my kids. I knew that they were going to grow up fast. I knew that in a blink. Right now, I have a graduate, freshman in his first year, and an incoming senior. And so you blink and it's almost done. And I didn't want to miss another moment with my kids. And I thought, well, I'm not happy with my school system or as far as the district. I can't do anything about it. You know, I can complain, which is fine, but this gives me an opportunity. Homeschooling is to kind of put my money where my mouth is and really invest in them. So thank you. And because of that, this is why I think us family liaisons are so passionate about helping our parents and supporting them, because we know that is a journey, and it's a beautiful one. It can be. And so we're just here to help that. Go ahead, Rach.
Hey, I was just trying to figure out, have you guys always had this homeschooling success, or was this like a new thing this year to help incoming new families? Like, how long have you had this kind of like a support? Because I feel like I've my kids going into 4th grade. I have 2 kids with Blue Ridge since the beginning. But so I don't really need help like getting started because I've already done my path, but I'm just trying to help new moms get in. So I'm trying to use all the resources that you guys have available to help them usher so that it wasn't so difficult, me tripping into it, not realizing there was not really orientations or really things laid out, but maybe I just missed that. So I was just kind of curious, is this something new that you guys are doing, like the presentation you just did now, or has this been always available, like let's say within the last 5 years? Or
Yeah, so we've had these the past few years, but they were called planning for success. Yeah. So they were called planning sessions before, and we've just renamed them.
okay, I feel like things have gotten more streamlined with you guys. Like I like the bulletin. I feel like just Blue Ridge, like seeing you guys kind of evolve over the years and like just get like whatever you guys are doing, it's definitely working now. It's a lot easier to find things. I mean, I wasn't really looking for a lot of resources before because I started with unschooling and then I became eclectic and then now I'm just kind of, exploring all the options. I still feel like I'm honoring the child led, but my kids are leading to a more structured environment. So then I'm doing some outsourcing, some at home. It's just been a very wild ride, but I'm just, again, trying to help other new moms as they come in so that they don't seem like so overwhelmed. And so that's why not being new, but jumping on and going, oh, well, what resources maybe did I miss? Or is new that I'm like, hey, you need to check this out because it was super helpful. And now I want to spread that information to the other ones coming in so that they're just don't feel so lost.
Yeah, let me pull up a document that has all of our past sessions like this.
Because yeah, you guys said this would be available for people to watch. So if they couldn't make a live, where they have live questions, at least I can direct them to this. And then they have further questions we can go on. Because I used to outsource like a homeschooling 101 to some of the moms or host something at my house to kind of like help them find out their why but this has like been a really good, I think, presentation of like the way you laid it out and like all the slides. It was very like organized, very like, yeah, this is perfect. This is exactly what they need in a nutshell to get started. And so, yay to you for that. And thank you. And, but yeah, if you can give me like some kind of link to where I can send them to watch this if they don't get a live session like through the month of June, that would be helpful.
There you go. I put it in the chat. That's a document that will have the recording for this session and the future sessions. And it also has all of our past planning sessions.
Okay, perfect.
So one question is, so we're going to do balance and burnout in our next 2 sessions. So that will be, look at my calendar, the 22nd and the 29th.
So are these homeschooling success, or is this like, because I thought it was just a reoccurring meeting, like same thing each week for people to hop in on, or are they, they're all different?
They're different topics. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Each one's a different
That's
topic.
good to know.
But we also,
I don't want to overwhelm you too much.
right.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that you kept it within an hour. So it's just like a good little like bite size, like, okay, I'll do that. Let me think it over, write my why, take more time to do that instead of maybe on the spot if they weren't planning on sitting down to write it. But yeah, that's helpful.
We will also have office hours in July to support our families as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to be online. You can pop in, ask a question, or share a frustration, or share something good that's going on. I mean, we want to hear it all. And we've heard it all also. So I don't think there's anything that you can throw at us that we haven't had to support another parent through. And that's okay. That's what this homeschooling journey is about. So even if you want to hop on to ask us about some of these sessions, maybe questions, we're there to support you as well.
Can you post the office hours as well in the chat, just so we can have everything on one sheet? That'd be great.
They'll also be posted on Facebook. It'll be on the Parent Information Center and on the Blue Ridge Bulletin. So just always keep a lookout for all of them. We try to hit all of our kind of platform.
It is in the newsletter. Let me put the newsletter in the chat.
That's even better.
We do have 2 questions about museum family passes. You will get access to which passes, but a majority of the museums we do accept, you can get a pass for. I don't know how to word that correctly. It's just what type of passes is what's on our list. And you'll get access on how to purchase those and things like that once it's closer to school.
Once ordering has opened, I believe it's towards the end of July when we go to our regular ordering schedule, you'll be able to place orders for museum passes or other educational venues for like a basic membership.
You can also get tickets to some of the locations if you can't get a pass.
Correct. You can get like
get a
daily use
ticket.
tickets.
We have Nikki here too, if she wants to interject any notes.
Sure, I just waited until you saw me. So hi, so once ordering begins, which is July 10th, you'll be able to submit orders for your curriculum, products, technology, and field trip passes or membership passes. So memberships, there are suggested membership locations on our approved service and product list, which I think that's in the bulletin or in the newsletter. They get the new parent newsletter. And you can look, it's on one of the tabs at the bottom, you'll see membership passes. And those are for memberships within LA, Ventura County, and 25 miles of that. And then if you want to go somewhere that's outside of that area for an educational field trip, you can submit for a daily admission ticket with your student and a chaperone ticket as well. So you'll see all the instructions in the enrichment guidelines.
Thank you, Nikki. That's super helpful. There is a question from Eileen. It says and so my child is supposed to go into 3rd. I'm concerned he's not fully ready for it, but would be, but worried he may find 2nd grade too easy. Is there a placement test he can take to see if he should move on? Jamie, is this something that you can address?
Sure. As a public school, we do have to follow the education codes according to the California education codes that, sorry, I just lost my wording because I was thinking about enrichment. No, I'm shifting gears. We have to follow the grade level placement guidelines based on their birth date and what our charter says. So if you are concerned that your child is not able to meet the grade level expectations, we do have a retention process. It is a fairly rigorous process to really evaluate where that student is. We don't have a placement test. It would be more of an evaluation of student work samples, any test scores, your input, and then we would utilize our in-house intervention services with our credentialed teachers to work with that student to see how we can help them to bring them up to grade level if possible. And if not, then we would problem solve from there. So ultimately, in order to support the student, we recommend that we utilize the independent study program and that built-in flexibility that we have to meet the student's needs and where they are, rather than trying to change their grade level on paper. Because that gets very tricky. We don't want them to bounce back and forth between being retained and then maybe being accelerated when they're ready to move on. We try to just leave those grade level numbers alone as much as we can, and then work with the student individually, each year to meet them where they are and to help them progress. So if you need more information than that, you're welcome to just message me directly and I'm happy to talk with you.
I have one more question for you to answer, Jamie. is there a list of where the HST's responsibilities are?
Oh, I haven't had that question before.
Or
A
what
list
the
of HST
HST's
responsibilities.
Yeah.
I think the closest you'll get is probably within the student parent handbook. That would be a breakdown of parent responsibilities and teacher responsibilities. If there's more specific information that you're looking for within that, because that could encompass a lot of things, I can speak with you directly. If somebody has the parent student handbook link, maybe we can pop that into the chat.
I am currently looking for it.
There was a hand up, and I'm sorry, we're handling all of that, but if someone had a question, please feel free to unmute yourself. We're still here to assist you.
Hello. I was just wondering if we're going to have an opportunity to meet with our homeschool teacher before like everything goes online to order, because this is our first year and kind of have no idea what we're doing.
Understandable, and that's why we have so many sessions with us, so we can try to field some of your questions while the teachers are out for summer. Our teachers have just gone onto their summer break. They each select 5 days in July that they will be working, so they will have those days to contact you and to speak with you and help make those curriculum selections. If for some reason your teacher's dates are after when you would like to place your orders, you can reach out to one of us for some support and we can help you look at some curriculum options.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe our curriculum department will be hosting office hours to support our families. So if you're looking at a type of curriculum, they're going to be showing a slideshow with what they offer. They're going to be showing the flyers and giving you little summaries of the curriculum options that are available. So that all that information and the flyers will be again in the current Blue Ridge Bulletin, the newsletter, as well as your welcome packet, I believe. So, just continue to look into that, make sure that the emails that are being sent to you from the school are looked at, and a lot of the information is in there.
Put the new family newsletter in the chat, which has all of those office hours. And also here is the handbook as well, the parent student handbook. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Shannon, I just